Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Brianna.
And I'm Demaya.
And this is She Thinks She Knows podcast. So today we are joined by Springfield Family Doulas. Springfield Family Doulas is a local service here in Springfield, and they offer full service and holistic, full spectrum doulas and holistic doulas, if I'm correct, in pretty much providing emotional support, physical support for mothers during, before, and after pregnancy. I hope I'm saying all of that right. Okay. I learned about Springfield Doulas through the Cafe Garden of Eden. I met Tanita and she was telling me about it. And so I thought it'd be pretty cool to have them on the show because I personally am interested in the process of motherhood and I want to learn more natural ways to deal with the pregnancy process, even though I'm not planning to be a mother. I find it very interesting. We don't have Maharo today, as you guys may notice. She was unable to join us, but she is still here in spirit. So without further ado, Tanita and Lakonia, you guys can introduce yourselves.
Tanita usually goes first, but I'll go first today. Hello, I am the co-founder of Springfield Family Doulas. Springfield Family Doulas came together because we wanted to provide culturally competent care for women in the community, specifically women of color in the community.
My name is Tanita. I am a full spectrum doula, and I help moms with the whole process of the birth, meaning adoption, abortion, contraception, what's going labor, delivery, prenatal, postnatal. So I pretty much deal with the whole full aspect of pregnancy. I am also a lactation counselor, which I help women when it comes to breastfeeding. And I'm also a placenta encapsulation specialist.
So for the people that we've been throwing the word doula around a lot. And so for some people, they don't even know, they've never even heard that term. So can one of you tell us what a doula is?
Sure, a doula is, so we are a non-clinical professional. So we do have to get trainings for this. And what we do is we provide support, whether it be physical, emotional, mental support for moms and their families during birth, after birth, during labor and delivery. Because sometimes what moms need, every mom needs something different. Nobody is like, it's not a cookie cutter. So one mom may need more support than another mom. One mom may need mental support and more of us being there to talk her through things. Another mom may need more physical hands-on support, whether it's hands-on support during labor or it could be hands-on support during postpartum with helping out around the house or if she has other kids and things like that. It's a lot, it could be different things for different moms.
So with that profession, it kind of seems like you guys have a lot of close relations with your clients, obviously, and you spend a lot of time with them. So what caused you guys to go down that career path?
Well, with myself, I chose to go down that career path dealing with my own personal issue that happened during my labor and delivery with my first son. It was kind of traumatic. I was by myself. There was a lot of things now that I know of that it was preventable if I had somebody that was on my team who could help me. Later on in the years, instead of being somebody who just accepted it and was okay with it, I kept on just learning more things that was happening in my, after I had him, I was learning more things that was going on with myself. And the reason why we do have such a close relationship with our clients, and it's intimate, is because this is a very special time in a person's life. You know, it's a very intimate time, it's a very personal time. So we have to establish a relationship so that they can accept us to be in that most intimate time in their life. Because that's the time when a woman is kind of most vulnerable.
So I can kind of answer that question for myself as well. I went into it pretty much same reason as Tanita, just educating myself and wanting something different for my second birth. My first birth was okay. but I feel like I didn't have like a say in anything. I just kind of went in the hospital and they did what they had to do and baby was born, that kind of thing. But I wanted it to be more, as I became more in tune with myself, I wanted to be more involved in my own birth. So second time around, it was different. I had Tanita as my doula, but it was so helpful to have somebody there, because even me being a doula, and still I needed a doula at that point because I was in pain and this was happening, things were going on, and it was just too much for me to like handle being pregnant and getting ready to deliver a baby. So still having a doula there and knowing that everything's going to be okay, I was kind of able to be okay with myself going through it, but just having her support there, the physical support and the mental, emotional support there. So that's why I kind of went to it. I also went to it because it was just like, we're dying in the hospitals. We're not being heard in the hospitals. It's been a kind of a mess and it's been ongoing. And I wanted to be a part of the fixing, the help with that, and the improvement of Black women and their children coming out of the hospitals alive. So I wanted to educate myself on that. I kind of was going down that route anyways with school, but I kind of deterred to being a doula instead. So. Yeah.
So what are some of the daily tasks that you ladies do as doulas? Whether it be on the business side or working with your clients?
In the aspect of something daily that we do, we kind of really do check up on our clients daily. I mean, that's one of the major ways how we establish a relationship, is to make sure that there is somebody to check up on them, see how things are, see how their appointments are, see how the baby's doing, see if they're getting enough water intake, see if they're stretching, see if they're walking, see if they're having enough nutrition in their body, what kind of nutrition they're putting in their body. Just making sure they have a solid mind, if they need to be meditated, if they need to be meditating, if they need somebody to just help them relax on the everyday anxiety. Some of the things that we just do every single day.
Yes, we also, on the business side, just really outreaching to our community and letting them know that we're there. Also educating them on what a doula is and why it's important to have one. Or if moms don't even want to have one, but just having that option to say, I can have one, or I know what this is, and things like that. Because it's always good to know what's out there and know what your options are on the business part. Just really outreaching, trying to get to like different parts of the community, WIC offices, the hospitals, having a relationship with them, the birthing center, having a relationship with the birthing center, and also home births. So we're able to provide that the services anywhere, you know. That's what we've been doing for the last 2 years. It's been working out, and just really outreaching and getting out there and getting our cards out there so moms can have that option of, okay, yes, I want to do it.
So one thing you mentioned was having relationships with the hospitals, birthing centers, even people with home births. So one thing I learned was that doulas don't have the license to physically deliver the baby, even though they're a part of majority of the process. So how do those relationships with doctors and like midwives or whoever's birthing the child, how do those look? And have you experienced any conflict with that being doulas yourselves?
So we're hired by the client, and that's our main goal. It's just what mom wants, what the family wants, and we try to get it there. And the relationship with either the home birth midwife or Bay State midwives and the birthing centers, it's been good because we're all there for the same reason, pretty much. It's to focus on mom, what mom wants, making sure she has a healthy birth and a desirable birth at the same time, because birth should be positive, it shouldn't be negative. And that's our main goal. So most of the time we're like that middle person, specifically in the hospital, we're that middle person to kind of like, okay, this is what mom was saying and this is what mom wanted to do, rather than it be just not midwife or OB to client, because sometimes they can tell you all this stuff and mom doesn't even know what's happening. So we go in there and we're like, okay, she needs a minute. And we're discussing everything that the doctor has told her. You know what I mean? So she's understanding what's happened. And that's called informed consent, because sometimes we consent to things and we're not even informed about it. And that's one of the reasons why we really are in the hospitals and working with the midwives and OB. So far, it's been good. And it's because Tanita and I, we just really stay to our clients. We don't try to step on anybody's toes. Like you said, we're non-clinical. So non-clinical means we don't do blood work. We don't do blood pressures, vital signs. We're not there to deliver baby, but we're there to help mom get through that process of delivering baby. And then also helping with breastfeeding. So the breastfeeding part is hands-on. Right after baby's born, he or she is on mom's belly, and we're helping with the breastfeeding. So that part is hands-on for the most part.
So I have a question that just came up in my mind with it being more known that Black women are, at higher risk pregnancy and so on and so forth. I was wondering if Springfield Family Doulas is the first Black doula organization in Springfield. And I don't think we talked about it, but how long have you guys been up and running?
So in actuality, officially, it was our 1-year anniversary as Springfield Family Doulas on August 11th. So we were officially 1 year old. And, but as working as a unit, Laconia and I have been together working as doulas for about 2 years. And we've been doulas I personally have been a doula for about 2.5, 3 years. And it's funny because when I would say 3 years because our kids are turning 2. It's because when we were finishing both of us finishing our doula trainings, we were actually looking for a doula for ourselves. So I was looking for my own personal doula, and she was looking for her own personal doula. And mind you, how you have cousins, but y'all like kind of distant cousins, and y'all really don't, conversate that much. So that's how me and Laconia were. And then we were looking for a doula, and then we happened to find out that each other was a doula and looking for a doula and pregnant at the same time. So, I think it was pretty much our ancestors that was like, look here, y'all are the same, and find each other. So that's exactly what happened. And she became like my side doula because obviously she was pregnant too. And I became her doula, a side doula, which ended up being my doula for real. I ended up being her doula for real. So it just worked out. And we just been in business ever since because we just had the same thing in common. And we wanted to make sure that people in our community had what we were trying to offer. And for us to be the first doula business in Springfield, yes, we are. Are there other doulas that were in Springfield? Yes, there are, but they haven't made it into a business as we have. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's actually amazing that you guys are the first Black doula business in Springfield. And we had a conversation prior with someone else, and they were telling us about all of the amazing things Black people are doing in Springfield. So I'm just happy that it's still happening. And this is just an example of that. So definitely congratulations on that. And I think that you guys will make a very big impact on Springfield because I think we are coming into a time where, being more informed about your birth, especially in the Black community with the mortality rate of mothers during childbirth being much higher. I think that this service will definitely be needed, is needed and will be needed. So going more into your business, what are some of the hiring, like the steps to be hired as a doula? What's receiving service? You guys did say that you directly speak with the mother-to-be or the client. And so like, how does that work? And are these services accessible through like paying out of pocket, insurance? How does all of that work?
Yeah, so let me see, there's a couple of questions there. I'm trying to get them all. But yeah, so a mom may see us through Facebook, Instagram, or our website, and we do free consultations for everybody. So mom we get up there and we do it through Zoom for right now. And then we just chat and talk about our services and what mom's needs are. And if we can make those needs, which we always do, but just what the mom's needs are and our services and how we can help, basically. And the way they pay right now, because the doula bill has not passed, but it is promising because it's gone through like the first part of it. So it's hopefully gonna pass completely, but it's out of pocket. And we do sliding scale and payment plans as low as, if mom wants to do $25 a week, we've done $25 a week, $50 every other week. It's always good to like hire a doula at the beginning, so you have so much time to pay for it and also a smaller amount to pay, you know? So for right now, insurances aren't taking us, but hopefully, cross fingers, they do soon. What was the other question you had?
The hiring process. So how do you guys go about getting more people to work for your business? If you've been thinking about that, I don't know. I know you guys sort of this is your 1 year. So if you guys have any plans to expand, how does that look?
Well, really just coming together with other doulas that have the like mind as us, and kind of guiding them to what we are, having them understand what our mission is, basically, and if that fits theirs as well. And if we can work good together, then yes. And we've just been outreaching, talking to ladies. You know, we've been doing the vending events. There's so many Black business vending events lately that we've been just talking to women, making sure we have their email and following up with them if they did want to become a doula. Right now, Tanita and I are not trainers, but we are working on trying to become a doula trainer so that we don't have to always go outside of our community to get trained and come back in. We want to be like, okay, no, we provide this here. We provide training, we provide birthing classes, that kind of stuff, and have it be women of color instead of going out all the way to Northampton or, you know, just other places rather than here in Springfield, our home. So that's what we've been doing, is just really outreaching, reaching out to people, making sure we have their emails, and seeing if they're aligned with what we provide.
I really do appreciate some of the things that you hit on. One, the sliding scale payment option. I think that is something that people should like perk their ears up to, because, you know, one, you mentioned paying out of pocket. And so I feel like with a lot of women of color, that is already like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how I'll be able to do this, because like, I think that it's kind of taboo to hire a doula, to hire a midwife. And so the fact that you guys offer a sliding scale payment option is really great. And then the other thing that you guys hit on in terms of training and not having to go outside of your, you know, community in order to get these trainings. I think that, once again, this is something that people should pay attention to and appreciate about Springfield Family Doulas, because there's a different approach. You're not just here to be a doula and receive the money from it, but you're here to help the community. So we appreciate that. So far into your doula career, what new insights have you guys gained, or philosophies, and how has this translated into the ways that you live your personal life, if any?
I need that question repeated. It was a long one.
Okay, so what in this profession, what new insights or philosophies have you guys gained, and how do they translate into your personal life?
Well, with myself personally, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So with myself personally, I know with our clients, we tell them when you have a surge, quote unquote, a contraction, it's like a roller coaster. You can kind of feel when it's coming. You can feel the ride. It kind of goes up all the way to its peak, and then it comes down. You got to wait for it to come all the way down until it stops. And I feel as if at that time when stuff is happening, when that surge is happening, you have to concentrate on what's going on. You have to breathe through it. You have to stop, acknowledge what's happening, and breathe it down. Same thing with life. If something major is happening, that's one thing that I've taken in. Something is happening that I can't control of. We're going to stop. We're going to breathe. We're going to ride this roller coaster out. And we're going to ride it down also. Because it's always going to come down. It's always going to come to an end. So that's exactly one philosophy that I've learned and I've taken with me into life.
Tania, that was perfectly said. And I would go with your answer, but I guess I have to say something different. But I guess, you know, it's funny because COVID hit right when we were really coming out as a business and things like that. And just knowing that, you know, just because COVID hit, that doesn't mean moms are going to stop birthing. That doesn't mean babies aren't going to stop coming and moms aren't going to need support. And they really needed it at that point. And it was kind of tough because the hospitals was only letting one person in. So we had to really be innovative. We had to be on our toes, and we had to offer it virtual. So we expanded our business to virtual too, and really being there for moms on the phone. We did Zooms and FaceTimes and Facebook Messenger if they didn't have an iPhone, and just really making sure we're there. And moms, if they weren't able to speak because there's too much happening in the hospital, it was a lot going on with COVID. The husbands were able to, or their partners were able to call, let me call the doula, let me call my doula, and be right on the phone. And we were right there and we were walking dad through it so dad could be able to be there to help mom. We do help dads too. We love having their partners in our consultations. Every time we do our prenatal meetings, we love to have the dads there or the partners there because they're part of it and they know their spouse the best. So we like to teach them things just in case we're not able to be there. And COVID was one thing where we weren't able to be in the hospitals, but we were able to be in contact with dad face to face so that he was able to help mom. Or if they had a question about, oh, they're trying to give me this, or they're saying this, or they're trying to give me Pitocin because they want me to speed this up. And if mom didn't want it, she could say no. She can advocate for herself. So we help them advocate for themselves and say, no, thank you, I don't want it. I know my body's gonna do this. I know it's natural and I'm just gonna push through it and wait, that kind of thing. So I guess when disasters happen, because that was a disaster, COVID, we still had to work through it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just stop, there's no babies coming, because there was a lot of babies coming. But just having to be there for the moms in a different kind of way.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the environment was like in hospitals, especially during the pandemic when you're a mother to be, and your biggest fear is like, is this a safe place for me to have a child? I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, the hospitals are like hot spots. Like they didn't let anybody in, but for some reason, nobody wanted to go in. So like, I definitely think that during that time when it's a lot of stress happening, you're a new mom or a returning mom, whatever the case may be, and that's like the forefront of your head. It's really amazing that you guys are able to sort of find your way through that, you know, in a timely fashion, because it's necessary. And sort of like relating into like our journey with this podcast, we're not doulas, but you guys are like essential. You guys were essential in that time period. We were still trying to adjust to the pandemic. It hit us like a wave and we had no idea what to do. Like it put us on pause for like the longest time. So the way that you guys are able to just respond so quickly to it, it just speaks to your nature as women, especially women of color. And it shows that you guys are super like genuine about your intentions with this business and the services that you guys provide. So it definitely shows, and I appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. So
not only one other thing that just really popped off with hospitals, because like you said, it was a hotspot. Home births took a major like upgrade on women, saying no, we're going back to how it usually was. We're gonna have the midwife here. We're gonna have this baby in the middle of this living room. No, not literally, but you know what I'm saying. Like we're gonna do this at home, not with the hospital. And I think it actually, the pandemic also calmed people down when it came to popping babies in and out, meaning like at the hospital, let the baby out. It gave people, or it gave women time to realize, okay, this is my body. Maybe I can calm down, because actually the what do you call it? When they had the baby fast, help me out, Coney. Prenatals,
Help me out. Help me out. When they have the baby early.
And
Preterm babies.
Premature.
Yes. Thank you. My mom's actually blood pressures have went down because of the pandemic, and then oh damn it, what you say? Sorry.
Premature.
Thank you. Premature babies, they actually significantly amount also. It's because women had enough time to just calm down and relax and not be on a go. So a lot more babies will actually do on time compared to being born early, which gave women enough time to also think like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I don't have to get this. Maybe I can look more into what's going on with my body, you know? So it actually let more, and then actually breastfeeding went up, like things people do naturally.
C-sections went down.
C-sections went down.
Mm-hmm.
Because women got to realize what was going on with their body. They got to calm down. They got to relax. They got to put their feet up, and they got to concentrate on them and their baby.
You
so
know what that... Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was saying that made me think of how everyone's been talking about these pandemic babies are different. They're learning how to walk and talk and real fast. And the reality is it's because women are not doing so much while they're pregnant because they're stuck in the house. So they can, if they need to exercise, get a walk, they can, but for the most part, they're not straining themselves. So their babies are just coming out stronger in general. So it's just kind of alarming because while we're thinking these are super babies, no, it's like, these are just what healthy babies look like, you know?
Exactly. And actually mom giving them time because the world had you moving. Sometimes you'd be having a 2-week-old baby back in the daycare. You know, because moms be trying to go back to work or they trying to get back to doing, not even letting their whole body relax. And that's one thing we try to educate moms to do also is how have them learn how to relax their body, how to not be concentrating on this, that, and this. It's okay for have your house dirty for a little while because you have a fresh new baby and you're both learning each other. You know, it's okay to relax. It's okay to take a bubble bath with the baby on top of you to just relax. You know, your body needs it, your baby needs it, and your mind needs it. So those are the things we try to tell mom now, even when the world is getting back to how it used to be, hopefully. But as people are speeding up, these are things we want to tell mom, to remind mom that, look, you have to calm down. You have to relax. It's okay. You know, and whatever I can do to help you, let me be that service for you.
I really appreciate all those little statistics that you guys just gave because I definitely wouldn't have known that. And I don't think many people know those things. And so, like you guys talked about, you know, there has been bad throughout the pandemic, but there's been really great throughout the pandemic as well. And when we talk about life and giving life, I think those statistics that you guys just gave are amazing. So thank you for that. With that being said, this is a great time for us to take a break. So we're here with Laconia and Tanita, and we'll be back shortly to get more into their personal life and pregnancy, as well as just some tips and tricks that they can give new and young mothers. Hi, everybody. We're back with Laconia and Tanita from the Springfield Family Doulas. Before the break, we kind of got into some of the ins and outs of being a doula and their motivations for becoming a doula. And in this second half of the show, we're just going to get to know what having a doula is like from their personal experience, and we're going to get some tips and tricks that they can give to young mothers or new mothers. So without further ado, the first question after our break is, earlier you touched on being a holistic doula, Laconia. So we were wondering if you guys would be willing to elaborate on the difference between a holistic doula and a full spectrum doula.
For me, as a holistic doula, I like to just take in mind with the birthing person, the mom, just really their mind, body, spirit, and paying attention to all of that during pregnancy, because at different stages of the pregnancy, different things happen. You become more stressed, or you just become mentally more stressed, or physically. I like to make sure that I tap into all of that with the mom, because I want to deal with the whole person and not just the pregnancy. And that comes with, I'm training Thai massage. So that's like light yoga. It's almost like stretching. So basically when you're pregnant, you know, things are happening, your body's spreading, your muscles are relaxing, you get aches and pains and things like that. And with Thai massage, you're able to like kind of help soothe those. Also, I'm trained in Reiki, Reiki too, which is also like about mind, body, and spirit. So it's really letting the mind and the body and the spirit just really relax and come to a point where you can just, because when you need stuff done, or if you're like aching or you're in pain or there's trauma, anything like that, the only way to really heal from that is being still. And it's hard for us to do that being busy. It's hard for us to do that being pregnant. It's hard for us to do that sometimes it's difficult. You got kids and you're pregnant and you need to cook and clean, and it's just so much. So it's taking that time out, even if it's just 45 minutes to an hour, to just really be silent and quiet. And I just kind of work over mom's body, and really just, it's all about energy. Everything is energy. So if you're getting aches and pains, that's just energy that's built up and it's causing trauma, it's causing pain. So what I do is I just use my hands and I just kind of let the universe do its thing. So I'm just the tunnel, but just let it do its thing. And moms always feel good. I don't do this just for moms. I do it for everybody else too, but specifically for moms, it's so helpful to get that hour, that 45 minutes of just pure relaxation, just laying down, not having to worry about nothing, really having your mind be blank so your body can do that process that it needs to do. And with Reiki energy, it's really just, you ever have you fall off your bike, or you hurt your elbow or something like that as a kid, and your mom, what's the first thing your mom does? Go like this. Exactly. That's energy right there. So and it makes you feel better afterwards. So as an adult, that happens too. We stub our toe. What happens? We go to touch our toe. We hit our funny bone. We go to touch our funny bone. You know what I mean? It's just energy is everything. Touch is everything. And just really being silent. I like to bring that into the doula world when I'm with my moms, because it gets crazy. Even for me being a doula right now and being pregnant, I'm like, oh, it's especially that last trimester. It's just like you're heavy, you're tired, it's hot. You just want to be done and over. You want to have a healthy baby. You want to be home, and that's it. So sometimes with me, I've been really having to take a step back, especially at night when everything's calm and everybody's asleep, and they really just breathing, taking a moment to just breathe and stretch lightly. And then I can go to sleep peacefully. But it's really mind, body, spirit, really having that whole body, the whole person, and really paying attention to all of that, because so many things changes throughout your pregnancy. And just because even if you're on your second birth, third, fifth, you're always a different mom. It's always a different birth. And when you birthing somebody, a baby, you're birthing yourself again. So now postpartum, you're dealing with this new person, like, you know, people are like, oh, she changed her, oh, this and that. No, this mom just birthed herself along with the baby. Every time you birth yourself too. And it's like, you got to get to know yourself again and figure yourself out. And that takes time, like Tanita said, that postpartum period is really important to really tune back into mom. Baby is fine, you're breastfeeding or you're bottle feeding, but really mom needs that attention so that she is getting that support she needs to be able to heal. So yeah, what did I say? And I do herbal medicine, or I'm a certified herbalist.
I was gonna say, because she'll never like to mention it, and I was about to say she's an herbalist too. Hello.
Yes, I do that. So I do it just in life in general. But with moms, it's helpful because they need to be replenished. Even during labor, if she wants a tea instead of water, or, you know, whatever she chooses, if she wants some kind of tea that's nourishing her throughout her labor and delivery, then I'll make her a tea that is filled with nourishing herbs. Or postpartumly, if mom's having trouble breastfeeding, or if that's not the first thing to do, but like if she wants some kind of herbs that help increase her supply, then I can help her with that. It's just a lot of different, or if you want a foot soaks are good. You want a bath and you want to bathe with herbs is good to bathe with. One herb I like is calendula because you can use it for the whole family, but baby's first birth, use calendula. That's so soothing for baby, and it's so natural and it's so gentle on the skin. I can go on and on about calendula and herbs, but I will not. One more thing though, calendula is good for, I make salve. So like if you don't want to use the thick diaper cream that's in the stores and everything like that, you can just use calendula oil. It's gentle, it's thin, it's soft, and within a day, you'll see a difference in the baby's diaper rash and things like that. So I do a little bit of herbalism. And I think that's it. Oh, meditation. So every time we go see our clients, I always end with like a guided meditation or a guided stretch. So like mom is able to feel calm, at least for that half an hour to 45 minutes or whatever. She's able to like breathe and be calm and sit in her pregnancy and connect to baby, because sometimes we forget to connect to baby, you know, just placing your hand over your heart, placing your other hand over your belly and really connecting to baby, because we're so on the go. I know I am too, because I had 2 little ones at home as well, and trying to entertain them and feed them and do this and do that. I forget to be like, oh, I need to give my baby some love. You know what I mean? So it's just having that time for moms to be able to do that and recognize it and remember it and know that it's natural. So I guess that's it.
I would like to say though, even though I'm a full spectrum doula and Laconia is a holistic doula, we work very, very close together. So during the process, after our first consultation, if a client does decide to go on with us, they'll decide if they want the full spectrum doula, myself, as their main doula, or if they would like the holistic doula, Laconia, as their main doula. The difference between having both of us or just one of us is that by just having one doula with you, we're the one who's going to be contacting you, we're the one who's going to be visiting you. You know, there may be 1 or 2 visits that we both come together just to see how you both doing. But throughout the whole process, we both know exactly what's going on with all of our clients. So even though you picked me as your main client, I'm still letting Laconia know exactly what's going on. You know, if there's something that I can't help you with, let's say for instance, I'm noticing my client is like stressed or very anxious about just having a birth, me and Laconia might come to the next appointment and she might do like a little meditation with you, or, you know, so she might give you a little herb to calm down. Or if there's something that you have a question with and I don't know the answer with, I'll ask Laconia if there's something dealing with like Reiki or Thai massage or something that she may have more of expertise in, as well as vice versa. If someone is with Laconia and they have more of a more technical questions, something going on with the hospital, if they should do their blood sugar, anything like that. Go ahead, Connie.
She needed breastfeeding questions. Nita's been a breastfeeding counselor for what, 8, 9, 10 years?
Yeah, for over
so
10
like,
years.
Knows all the nicks and nans and tricks to help mom if it's a difficult, if they're having difficulty breastfeeding. So I'm always contacting Tanita and she's always got something. I was like, dang, okay. But yeah.
So it's always a tit for tat when it comes to her. She's the yin to my yang. Laconia is. So we always know when to help each other out or what's the exact thing that the client might need.
So in reality, while someone could be labeled a full spectrum doula, together you guys really make up the actual full spectrum of a doula. So
that is actually correct. Yes.
Yeah. So getting into sort of your pregnancy experiences, Laconia, I know you said that you also are having you are pregnant right now currently. You have 2 babies yourself. And Tanita, I believe you have 1. Yeah. You have 2. Oh yeah. Okay. So can you guys speak on your pregnancies and what that experience was like? Yeah, I would just be curious to know.
Sure. My first pregnancy, I was asleep. So, I mean, I was asleep. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do. I just knew I was tired all the time. My body was going through this extremely change and I did not know what was going on. I just knew it was tiring. and I was asleep. I did know that I wanted to know something. So I did go to a birthing class. But what I noticed, I still remember the birthing class now. And I also remember now the birthing class was more focused on giving birth at the hospital and the ifs, ands, or buts about the hospital, giving birth and the things that you should do for the hospital, not necessarily what's going on with my body, what I need to know, what's happening with my body, the things to relax while I'm in labor. It didn't inform me anything of that. So my water broke when I was having my older son, who's now going to be 11. So my water broke, and I called the midwife, and they told me to wait, in which I didn't understand that, because I thought I was supposed to go right in the hospital, because that's what the TV shows you. Your water break, you go right in. So I thought I was supposed to go right in. She said, no, stay home. And I was like, why? But not realizing then that, I really didn't have no point to go in. Water breaking, you have literally almost up to a day to go in, depending on, it's a lot of information that they don't really tell you. So I didn't feel no contractions, but my water was breaking. So I just decided to go in. With me going in, they also gave me an option. Are you feeling any contractions? I was not feeling no contractions. So it was a snowstorm too, back in 2011. So they gave me the option so I can go home, or I can walk around the hospital, or I can be admitted. They gave me 3 options. My option, my water broke. Duh, I'm supposed to be admitted. Yeah, that was the wrong thing to do. Now that I know now, I would have went home. I would have went legitimately home. Not even walked around the hospital. I would have went home. Being admitted in the hospital, that's when your time starts clicking when it comes to the bills. And so they're treating you like somebody who's, wasting their time pretty much. So as soon as I got in there, my contraction still wasn't going. Why? Because it was my first birth, and your body takes a very, very long time to have a baby when you are having your first birth baby. So I didn't have no contractions. They gave me Pitocin to start it, because why? I'm on their time clock, and I'm admitted, and I need to be hurry up and rushed out. So they put me on Pitocin. What Pitocin does is a fake oxytocin, which oxytocin is the love hormone that's in your body that actually releases love, but it also actually does contractions too. It helps you have contraction, the oxytocin. Pitocin is fake oxytocin. So they gave me Pitocin so that my contractions can start. But what was really happening is, now that I know it now, the Pitocin makes your body have contractions without your body being prepared for the contractions. So how I just told y'all about the roller coaster prior? You don't have no roller coaster. There's no feeling the beginning. There's no rise and escalate. There's no downfall. There's only top, 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 top. So it's like your contractions coming, top, 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 stop. Contraction, stop, 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 and then stop. So there's no way for your body to get used to it. So what happens? Your body goes into distress, baby goes into distress, because y'all both are not prepared for what's happening. So that's what happened. So the majority of times when you get inductions, mom have a greater response of getting an epidural. I didn't want an epidural prior because I didn't want nobody sticking nothing in my back, because people don't tell you also, when you get an epidural, you have to be perfectly still during contraction, during anything. You have to be perfectly still when that needle goes into your back. Why? Because it could paralyze you. So I kind of knew that. So I didn't want an epidural because of that fact. So, and then when I tried, obviously them things was hurting, but my body wasn't ready for it. So there was contraction. So I had to get an epidural. But there's nobody informing me these things. These are things that I'm just learning because these are happening to me at the time coming. And now when the doctor is coming to me and saying, okay, yes, I need some pain. Yes, I need, help me. Just help me. Just stop it. Those are your first thoughts. Not realizing there were other medications that I could have been taking. Not realizing I could have did like 2, 3, 4 other medications before I had that epidural in the first place. Not realizing, even though they told me I could be admitted to the hospital, I could have still left and walked out. I didn't have to stay. These are things that people didn't tell me or I didn't know, because I'm admitted. I'm not in jail. I can go home, but I didn't think about that, So anyway, epidural time. I got the epidural. And now when you have an epidural, you can't get out of bed. You have to be perfectly still in bed. You can't really move. You can move where they tell you to move, or you can try to move, but you can't. You basically can't. So you pretty much, and then I had like all the equipment on so that they can hear the baby's heartbeat and everything else. But I was able to move just a little bit. At the time, I think the epidural was wearing off. So I got up and I went to the bathroom. And when I went to the bathroom, everything fell off. So they couldn't hear the baby's heartbeat no more because all the equipment fell off. So I went to the bathroom, I had to go to the bathroom. So now me and my children's father at the time, we tried to put everything back on. And when everything went back on, I tried to get back into bed. And then all of a sudden, all the nurses and everybody rushed in there talking about they couldn't hear their heartbeat and I had to do emergency C-section. Not realizing, I'm trying to tell y'all, no, everything fell off. No. It was like, no, we didn't hear anything. It stopped, blah, blah, blah. So the words out of my mouth, you're not listening. You're not hearing nothing that I'm telling you. So now I'm doing this major surgery with y'all not listening. Now, what if something happened to me on this bed? You weren't listening to me when I told you that nothing was happening, that this thing fell off. So now I'm in the bed having a C-section and they put the drug in me. And whatever drug the drug that they use, to numb the bottom of your body so that you can have a C-section, it felt like death, literally like death. I felt like I was cold and I felt like I would have closed my eyes and I would have never woke up. I felt like there was nothing to ever relieve that coldness that came forth upon me. So I told myself I would never, ever do this thing again because I literally didn't even know that there was going to be a child coming out of me because I couldn't feel nothing because I was just so cold. So that was like the worst feeling ever. I seen my baby for a quick second when they brought him to me. Then they put us like literally right here. They didn't put the baby on me at that point in time. They wasn't that baby friendly at that point in time. So then we went to a recovery room. And I remember going to the recovery room. They had me on the bed and they had the baby in the corner. And I remember asking the nurse who was across the other way if I can see my baby. I remember, can I see my baby? Can I hold my baby? Can I touch my baby? And she kept on telling me no. No, you can't. No, you can't see him. No, you're recovering. No, the baby's over there. He's fine. No, I have to finish putting this stuff in the paperwork. No, and I'm literally begging for my child. You won't let nobody come in the room to see me. You won't let me see I can't get up because the epidural hasn't wore off yet, but you won't even let me put my baby on my chest. That was a major problem. So now when everybody is coming, trying to come see me, you're stopping them at the door and not even letting them in. That was a problem. So with all that happening, I wanted to make sure that I did, first of all, that I didn't go through that again. Secondly, that no mom would ever experience that, what I went through. So the second baby, which was actually 9 years later, long time, I had a doula. I was well informed of what was going on with my body. So when I was having contractions this time, I was actually at a client's house because, I'm like 10 months pregnant and still going to see clients. So I went to go see a client and I'm like, oh, y'all need to calm down because I'm having a contraction. So I'm telling them that I'm having a contraction. The difference with this contraction is now I can feel the difference. Oh, let's back up a little bit. That first birth, when I went to an epidural, the reason why I knew that if I have another baby again, because I sat through 2 contractions while they was putting an epidural through my back. So I was like, if I can do this, like I felt like it was too late now for them to say stop because I didn't know in my mind that you can say stop. But if I can sit here still going through this contraction while you're putting this needle on my back, if I do this again, I'm not doing this. I'm not having this Pitocin. I'm not having this epidural because if I'm staying still with this epidural, I can do it naturally. That's what I told myself. I told myself that long ago. So I told myself that it's my next baby. So that was like a little willpower and I was like stubborn, but yeah. So this time, seeing a client, I'm going through a contraction. After that, mind you, she lived like on the 2nd floor and it was like so many steps. I think literally that's what made me go into labor, but that's neither here nor there. So coming down the stairs, I get back into the car and go home and I start cleaning or whatever, but I still start feeling contractions. And I tell my children's father at the time, I was like, yeah, I'm in labor. He was like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Because he was like, well, you need to calm down and sit down. And I was like, no, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which was like washing dishes, clean the house and stuff like that. Like I was just doing everything because I realized that I just need to keep on moving. And if I can breathe through them, then things are fine. So that was like around 12 o'clock afternoon. That lasted until like around 7. I called my doula like around when they first started. I texted her, let her know, hey, I think something's going on here. And she was like, I'm coming. I was like, no, don't come. So she literally didn't come. She kept on checking up on me every hour.
and calling me on the phone, seeing how I sound, because you can literally hear how somebody sounds and if you need to come or not by how they're sounding and if they're in labor. So around 7:00, she called again, and I was like, "You're okay." She was like, "I'm coming." So she came. She heard the difference in my voice. So she came anyway, and I was like in a bathtub, and then she seemed like I went through like another contraction. So she was like, "I'm lucky I came now." So we are just contracting around the house. I'm on a birthing ball. I'm using a peanut ball. These are little things that we use, and bouncing around, making things okay. I also was laying down in a bed, trying to relax while these contractions was going on. Then when when it got really, really serious, I thought I could handle it. My doula was like, "No, we're going to the hospital," because I guess I was like screaming by then. And so she was like, "No, we're going to the hospital." And so we like literally just had to go to the hospital. And so as we were there at the hospital, and they like heard me like screaming and stuff too, because it got really painful by then. And when we got to the hospital, we got to the back door. They checked me and they said I was 9.5 centimeters. So it was pretty much time to push the baby out. And I also distinctly remember when there was a lady, I was there screaming in the hospital, and there was one nurse who told me, "Okay, you're in the hospital. You can stop all that screaming now." She was talking to the wrong one here. "Excuse me, lady, you can leave out of my room." "No, you can leave leave." So I legitimately told that nurse to leave out of my room, because you're not going to tell me how am I going to birth. This is my birth. This is my body. You don't know what I'm experiencing right now with my body. So you can leave. And she did have to leave. Okay. So me being 9.5 centimeters, why wouldn't you think that I wouldn't scream when there's a whole baby coming out of me? Okay. That's for one. For two, my doula was right there. She was advocating for me. She was telling me to breathe. She was telling me to relax. There was a midwife there, and they just let me just birth how I needed to birth. They let me sit up. I wasn't laying down on my back, which I did not want that to happen. Nobody touched me. Nobody did anything I wanted them to do. Didn't want them to do. I didn't have no kind of needles in me. I didn't have anything. So all they let me do was birth my baby how I wanted to do. And then he came out. And they put him right on my chest. And I was able to nurse right then and there. And it was a much better experience compared to the first experience. It was all natural. It was what I wanted. I felt empowered. I got to do the things I wanted to do. My doula gave me comfort measures, and she comforted me when she needed to. And it was a black and white experience. So different.
Wow. I honestly, when you first started with your story and you were saying all the horrors, I'm like, oh my gosh, like these are people go through, like that whole epidural and needle. I'm like, no, I can't. Like right. I never, no, like it just sounds very horrifying and very frustrating. Like even for me, I'm like, listen to, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I'll be cursing people out, like, you know. But it's clear that you had a much better turnout when you had assistance and when you knew yourself. And it also shows that even in their first experience, like you knew, even though you didn't know, you know what I mean? Like you understood, okay, this may not be the best. This is probably not right. And a lot of people don't know that. They think this is the best way to do it. I'm gonna just trust the hospital. I'm gonna do what you're doing. And like that idea of not being able to hold you, because I see certain things on like Instagram and things when they talk about like the birthing process. And one thing that I learned was that when you have your baby, the first contact is very important. Like your baby needs to know that it's you. And when you're in a hospital, you have all these gloves touching your baby when they're delivering it, you know, you need to be able to, that child has to connect with their parents. So when I heard that you weren't able to like see your child, that just sounded crazy to me, because it's like, but that's very important. Like they shared a heartbeat. You guys, you know, you shared a body. How could you not be able to touch them now that they're here? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And another thing that I learned, which I didn't know before, I had the assumption that once you had a C-section, that it was much harder to have a natural birth. I had no idea that you still had the option after having a C-section, because a lot of the times I heard like, once you have a C-section, that's it. Like from that point on, it's going to be much, much, much harder for you to have a natural birth. And so often,
yeah, that's not true.
Wow. That's crazy.
And that's why we are here, to inform.
I was so fearful
to inform our women.
Yeah, because I was so fearful of that. Like when I heard that, I was younger when I heard that. So I was like, what? Like,
no,
I was just learning about the birth, and I started looking up home births, and I'm like, I don't want to have a C-section. And so,
you know, they definitely do tell our women that, especially they will definitely tell our women that, women of color, that before they tell any other minority that, for different reasons. One, it's easier for them. Two, when I say them, I mean the institution. It's easier for them. Two, they legitimately get $10,000 more when they have a C-section compared to a natural birth. Okay. Secondly, if you ever realize, and if people have a C-section or scheduled C-section, it's never around the holidays. It's never a holiday. Nobody really has a birthday around the holidays because they want their time off also. Okay. Another thing also is if your body has time to recover, you can have a natural birth. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Thank you for letting me know, because I also think that C-sections are super, like, they're risky, like they're very risky. And even though they perform them so much, it's like, that's, you know, the probability of that going wrong is still very high. So it's just kind of crazy to me how people would just, oh yeah, like, I'm just getting a C-section, this baby needs to come out. It just seemed like people weren't really attaching themselves to the process of having a child, more so than it was just like, I want this to be done and over with. And right. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I wouldn't really know the thought process of when you're in labor and how that feels, but I would still imagine that it's a emotional experience that you should be fully connected with, because at the end of the day, it's your child, you know? So that's the product that you're giving to the world. So that the process should be the most peaceful, in my opinion. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your experience.
You're welcome.
Honestly. It definitely gives me more hope for when I'm, you know, at the age where I'm having kids, and I can be more informed about that whole process, because I was terrified. Like, I was so terrified of the whole process. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the videos I would see of people giving like water births. I was trying to research all these options. I'm like, I don't want to go to that hospital. I don't want to be cut up. Like, so that definitely gave me more peace of mind. So thank you.
Awesome. And we're here for you no matter what.
So my births, I have a 7-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. Let's see, my first birth with my son 7 years ago, I had him in the hospital. I wanted to do everything natural back then too, but once I got to the hospital, the contractions hit. I got in the hospital, they were like, you're 4 centimeters dilated. Do you want any pain medication? I was like, yes, please. And I sat still for that medication. I got the epidural, and then 4 hours later, I had my baby. But in between that time, it's kind of crazy because, like, when you have the epidural, you're just kind of like there, like Tanita said, you're not moving in bed. I didn't even get to get out of bed. I had to use forgot what you call it. But anywho, but yeah.
A pee pad, like a pee pad that comes underneath you?
Yeah, it was just weird. But the thing was, I just went along with it. And it was just like, I just did whatever the midwife told me to do. The help, you know, I did whatever they said, and I just stayed in bed. The bad part about that is I had the shivers. I had, I was itchy all over my body. I had a really bad headache. And those are side effects from the epidural. And then I wasn't able to like feel when to push. So like when it was time to push, I mean, also my midwife broke my bag too. So that didn't naturally break. She broke it for me. And then after that, I was getting ready to push. And she was the one telling me when to push because I couldn't feel anything, which was kind of annoying, but I didn't know at the time. So I thought that was just like normal. I did have, you know, I had family in the room. I had my son's father in the room. So I did have people in the room with me, but I feel like I had a little bit too many people. So if I had a doula, she would have been like, you know, because I had my sister's best friend there. I had my son's father's sister there. It was just a lot of people in the room. And that wasn't what I pictured anyways. But yeah, so that was my birth. It wasn't very traumatic, but it wasn't like I was in tune with my body. I felt what was going on. I didn't feel any of that. I was just like, looked at the midwife to say when to push now, okay, stop pushing, okay, push now, okay, stop pushing, okay, that kind of thing. It was just like, I was just listening to whatever was going on. But fast forward 7 years later, I am a doula, I am informed, I am educated, and I have a doula. Tanita was my doula. My second birth was in the hospital as well. But this time I wanted to really do it natural, not just say I'm going to do it natural and then go in. And as soon as they come in, they didn't offer me with my first son an alternative to medicine, to pain medication. I didn't even know back then that there was an alternative to pain medication. There was comfort measures, there was counter pressures on your back, or, you know, just foot rubs to kind of get through something. I didn't realize that that was possible or even existed. But anyways, fast forward 7 years later, I have, not seven, yeah, 7 years later, I have my daughter, and I have a doula there. I'm at home laboring with my boyfriend because Tanita taught him the comfort measures. So she didn't have to come right away. So I just stayed at home when my water broke. I stayed at home. He was doing comfort measures. I was bouncing on my birthing ball. Everything was good. And then I realized I feel like I needed to go. So I texted Tanita, and she was like, I'll meet you at the hospital. We went to the hospital, and things, I was upset at first because I went in and they was like, oh, you're only 4 centimeters dilated. I'm like, dang it, I wanted to be like Tanita and be 9.5 and ready to push and get out of here. I was so upset with myself. Tanita, then Justin was like, she's upset in there because she's only 4 centimeters. But anyway, which is crazy because next thing you know, I'm admitted and they got me in the room and I'm just like all over the place. My birth happened within an hour. So from 4 centimeters to 10 within an hour, it just happened so quick. I couldn't even get like a grasp on anything. It was just crazy. But Tanita realized, she was looking at me, realizing that I was transitioning. You know, there's different parts of labor, and that I was transitioning and that this baby was coming soon. She was on it. She was doing comfort measures. She was talking me through it while the nurses are asking the same questions they asked me when they admitted me. What's your birth? What's your address? What's this?
Excuse me, can you wait until she's done with this contraction, please? Please. That's what I did.
Yeah, exactly. But you need that person to be like, you know, we can wait a minute for that question. And these are questions they already asked me when they were going to admit me anyways. But it was just like, it happened so fast. So it was just insane. And I don't even know what to say to me because I kind of was out of it after a while. I was just like, oh, at one point I was like, I got to push. Like my body wants me to push. The nurse is like, no, you're only 4 centimeters. They just checked you, which they did just check me and said I was only 4 centimeters. But I was like, my body is saying something different. Tanita whispered in my ear. She said, listen to your body. And when she said that, I let go. And once I let go of all my muscles being tense, my body did that fetal ejection where your body just pushes baby out. And that was that. But it was, I mean, there was a lot of stuff in between that happened within that hour. But for the most part, it was just like, once she said, listen to your body, I just let go. And that fetal ejection happened where my body just pushed baby out. And everybody rushed in and it was kind of crazy afterwards and things like that. But it was just like, you know, I needed Tanita there. If she wasn't there, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what could have happened or what would have happened, but it wouldn't have happened the way it did. Yeah.
Right. A lot of times in a hospital, when people are about to have a baby or you feel like they need to push, a lot of times, first of all, the nurses can't deliver the baby. So they'll tell you to stop pushing, to no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that, telling you to go against what your body is naturally doing because they're trying to get a doctor to come in there because they can't do it. So just like she said, when I told her to listen to her body, her whole body relaxed, compared to her tensing up and keeping that baby inside and not doing what her body was supposed to do. That can harm her body and the baby more than it can do some good. But that's what they're telling you sometimes, to do that, to just to stop. How can you stop what your body is naturally supposed to be doing? You can't put a time limit on when this baby is supposed to be coming. So that's why I wanted to literally tell her to listen to her body, because her body is the only one who should be dictating what's going on. And that's it. And once she relaxed, that baby just came out. Mm-hmm. And then she lifted the curve and said, oh, there go the head. Oh, yeah. You think?
I really do appreciate, you guys talking about tuning in and listening to your body. Tanita touched on it earlier, and I could just picture it when Laconia was talking. But in TV, like, all the doctors, all the people are in the room telling you to push 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like push. And so once again, I didn't even know that the epidural doesn't allow you to feel when you have to push. And so that's why they're telling you to push. And so throughout this conversation, I really appreciate all of the literally facts, like information that you guys are giving, because literally nobody would know these things if you guys weren't here to give it to them. And so what are some of the crucial habits that young mothers to be can practice to ensure a healthy childbirth?
I would say education, education, education. Because once you know, then you're informed and you can make a decision that's for you and your family. Because if you don't know, then hello? Okay. So if you don't know, then you're just going to go with whatever they're telling you or whatever they're feeding you. And, you know, just to go on with like C-sections and things like that, some people do need C-sections. C-sections are for emergency uses. So I wouldn't say C-sections are always bad, but they're for emergencies. They're not just, you know what I mean? I just kind of wanted to touch that, but yeah.
And water. Water. Drink your water. I mean, that's something as simple as water that can, you know, people have Braxton Hicks all the time, water. People have headaches all the time, water. People have body cramps all the time, water. I mean, especially when you're pregnant, your baby just sucks everything up. Like that water intake is very, very important.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you were saying the body aches, my body cramps up when I'm dehydrated. Like I get cramps in my sleep and I'm like, dang, like when's the last time I had a jug of water? Like when's the last time I actually had a full bottle of food? Like my daily intake of water. And so I would imagine that that's crucial. I had a question. It's just something that I was thinking about and I seen about the umbilical cord, how they cut it really quick. Like when you're in the hospital, they tend to cut it earlier than they need to. And I seen something about letting the umbilical cord empty out so the baby can get the last of the sutures. Now, can you guys speak on that? Because I was always curious about it, but I never really seen anything about it other than like kind of let your baby take the rest of whatever is there, since that's sort of what they're being fed through before clamping it. So do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Sure. Lakoni, would you like to go or would you like me to go?
It doesn't matter, either one. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, me? Okay, so with the umbilical cord, you want to wait till it stops pulsating because that's blood for baby. There's so many benefits to baby getting that extra as a bolus of blood. It's almost like somebody losing, it's equivalent, I forgot the amount, to an adult losing blood by just cutting it too soon. And it takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Some people leave it on for an hour as well, but it's just so important to just wait those few minutes so that baby can get that last bit of blood.
But I can honestly say now at Bay State, or I know for certain Bay State, I'm not quite sure about Mercy or any other hospital, but I do know for Bay State for right now, they do like to wait until the midwives likes to wait until it stops pulsating. They do wait until like 3 to 5 minutes. They put the baby right on you once they have you, and they do wait that couple of minutes before it stops. Also, if you have a C-section, what they do try to do now, if it's a healthy C-section, nothing's gone, they try to, instead of cutting it, they try to milk it, which they try to milk the baby, all that blood, instead of just cutting it right away. So the hospitals right now, OBGs and midwives, they are understanding the importance of it. They did understand the importance of it before, because that's why they're always trying to keep stem cells, which that's the stem cells that they're getting from, is the blood that circulates through mom and baby, that goes to the placenta. That's pretty much the stem cells that they can use everlasting, that can become anything else. Those are the stem cells. So my baby receiving all of that, they're getting, their iron actually is more improved. when they have jaundice, they actually don't have, they have less jaundice by receiving on their blood. There is more benefits. They have less diabetes, which is 1 or 2 later on in life by having all of their blood and stem cells. So there's plenty of benefits from them having that. There's a lot of things now. People keep it on, like she said, 3 to 5 minutes, maybe an hour. For myself, when it came to my second son, I tried to, I was going to do a lotus birth, which is let it fall off naturally. But then I realized it was a hard work. So it pretty much stayed on for like 2 hours. And then it was like, yeah, this got to go. So yeah, I mean, everybody does it pretty much different, but all I would tell moms is to pretty much do more research on them. If they were one of our clients and they need more answers to what we can give them, we will actually give them evidence-based information on cutting the cord and cutting it too soon, as well as cutting it too late. We will give information on lotus birthing and everything else that they may need to have information on.
Birth is natural. Birth, we've been birthing our babies for centuries, and it's a natural process. I know nowadays people are like scared and nervous, and it's just a lot going on, but we have to remember that it's natural. It's beautiful, it's sacred, and that's what we try to educate our moms on, that this is natural. Your body's born to do this, you know, and that it's sacred, and we try to keep that space sacred for moms as well.
I want to thank one more time Lakonya and Tanita for this great information that they're giving to us today. We already knew both of these women from the garden and from just being around. We actually we spend a lot of time around them, but it's really great to be able to have this conversation and get to know more about what they do for work, and just get to know things that I literally would never know. And so I really want to keep thanking you guys. And the next time I see you in real life, I'll probably thank you again, because this is going to be so helpful to ourselves, our guests, our audience, even our other guests, maybe, you know? And so thank you again. If you guys want to give the names of your social medias and where people can contact you, now is the time to do that.
Okay, you can follow us on Instagram as well as Facebook, Springfield Family Doula Services, Springfield Family Doula Services on Facebook, and Springfield Family Doulas on Instagram. We have our website, which is www.springfieldfamilydoulas.com. You can also write us on the email if you have a personal question that you would like, and it's springfieldfamilydoulas@gmail.com.
So thanks again to Tanita and Lakonya for coming on our show. If you are now listening to She Thinks She Knows podcast, subscribe to us on YouTube at She Thinks She Knows podcast, as well as follow us on Instagram at She Thinks Pod, to catch up and to follow for new content. Bye.